It's my partner's birthday in just over a month and I really want to crochet him a gift. Before the summer started, he was talking to me about a crochet shirt, like a button-up shirt, and this was probably maybe like April, May, earlier this year, and he's almost definitely forgotten about it, or at least I'm hoping he's definitely forgotten about it because he hasn't mentioned it in a while. This is a message from future me to put into this video, is that please, if you feel the need to comment anything about the boyfriend curse, the sweater curse, whatever the curse is called, please do not. I find it very annoying because whenever I've posted about it on TikTok, I've had DMs, I've had comments, so many comments about it, talking about the sweater curse. And I am a superstitious person. I believe in superstitions, but only ones that actually make sense. And to me, this one doesn't have any logic to it. So I do not care about the boyfriend sweater curse. I have gifted my partner a sweater, a crochet sweater already. I don't care. I don't believe that this curse is applicable to me and my partner. We have been together for 8 years and there is no sign of that ending anytime soon. So the sweater curse for me does not exist. So please, if you feel the need to make a comment about the sweater curse, refrain. Thank you so much. But when we were talking about the shirt, he gave me a really specific kind of brief of what he wanted from the shirt, which was a little bit annoying, I can't lie, at the beginning, because I was giving him all of these options. I was like, okay, something like this, maybe I found a pattern, and I was showing him the pattern. He was like, no. He had a very specific vision in mind, and so we finally managed to kind of like understand each other as to what it is that he wanted. And he basically wants like a patchwork button-up shirt, but so the patchwork is nice and lacy, like the squares themselves are lacy kind of squares. He doesn't want them to be kind of solid. He said he wants to be able to wear it in the summer, but specifically when it's a little bit warm outside, but maybe like the sun's gone down or it's a bit windy, and he can just like throw on this shirt to kind of add an extra layer of warmth, but without being super warm, but without being kind of too lacy and too cooling. So now that we are officially kind of on the same page as to what it is that he actually wants, I've kind of been brainstorming some ideas as to what squares I could incorporate into the patchwork element. Every time I make something with an African flower granny square, he loves it. He's always like, oh, that looks really nice, really kind of complimentary on it, but I don't think he can kind of visualize what that would look like in a wearable for him. So I am going to include some African flower granny squares. He also really loved the In Bloom square, which I posted a tutorial of, and he really liked that. So he likes that kind of lacy element of the In Bloom square. We also watched a movie the other day and somebody was wearing a patchwork crochet cardigan, but it was all in one colour, and they had granny squares on the cardigan as well as kind of solid squares. And so he obviously saw the cardigan and I was like, oh, that's really nice, and I kind of asked to pause it so I could take a photo, because I like doing that when I see crochet things in films and TV. But he really liked the granny square, and it's so funny because I've shown him so many granny squares, so many different color combinations, so many different kind of yarn weights in granny squares, so many different types of projects, and he's always said he doesn't like them. But I think he's not the best at being able to kind of visualize what something would look like in his color preference, maybe in like a different weight of yarn, that sort of thing, which is fair enough. You know, he's not a crocheter, that's like not his thing at all, but it has made my life a little bit more difficult. But it's okay, because, you know, I love him. I want to make him something that he actually likes. Another very precise specification that he had was the colour. He basically wanted it in a shade of beige, but finding the right shade of beige was very difficult, because every single option I showed him was either too white toned, it was too brown toned, it was too light, it was too dark, it wasn't kind of the right shade, or it was, you know, not necessarily the right yarn weight. It was maybe like a bulky kind of acrylic, or maybe it was like a chunky weight, and it was really hard to find this exact shade of beige that he wanted. If you saw my latest yarn haul, you'll know that I did manage to successfully find the correct shade of beige. He hasn't seen this shade of beige, but before, when we were discussing it kind of April, May, I did find this yarn, showed it to him, and he was like, yeah, that's the one. So again, I'm banking on the fact that he's forgotten about this entirely. So this is the yarn. It is by the Wool Factory. It's their Pearl Sky DK, and this is the kind of shade. It's a really lovely kind of off-white beige with just kind of a really small hint of the tan camel shade in there. But it's a really lovely yarn. I've worked with this exact yarn before, just not this shade. This is in the shade Colour 02. And if you watched my shell crochet t-shirt tutorial, I did work with the Wool Factory Pearl Sky DK, and it works up a dream. It really feels like cotton, but it's an acrylic yarn, which I think, although he obviously doesn't want it to be super warm, I think because of the fact it's a really nice fine weight and the fact that I'm going to be doing something quite lacy and quite loose with the squares, I think this is actually going to work really well for the kind of occasion that he wants to wear it. So it's going to be slightly warming, but because of the lace, it won't be kind of too hot, too stuffy for him to wear. So this is the yarn. Thank God. This was step number 1. It was finding the correct yarn. So I got 6 100-gram skeins, which I think will be enough. But if not, the Wool Factory does keep their yarn pretty well stocked, so I can always grab some more. But I think 600 grams of yarn for a button-up shirt will be fine for him. He's relatively slim build, but he is quite tall, so I'm hoping it will work out. I have made a start on a couple of the squares. I'm doing some of the African flower granny squares first, and here is what those squares look like. I think African flower granny squares in one colour just look so beautiful. They just look so pretty. I think it's like such a kind of like subtle and classic looking kind of piece. So I've got 2 African flower granny squares done already, and when he was trying to look for inspiration pictures and the style that he wanted, he found this kind of set of granny squares basically on Pinterest, and they were ranging from, you know, quite floral, quite lacy type of squares. And there was one square that he showed me which was basically a granny stitch, a granny square, but on the outer kind of edges it had like a diamond mesh stitch. It's not something I've ever seen before. I couldn't find a tutorial on it, so I kind of just grabbed the screenshot and then zoomed in a lot and just guessed. So this is where I'm at with it so far, and I think it's kind of looking how it looked in the photo. I think obviously the last round that I do will kind of bring it all together a little bit, because at the moment the diamond mesh is looking a bit unstructured and a bit kind of floppy, but this basically looks exactly like the photo that he sent me. So fingers crossed he hasn't changed his mind in that time, but I'm going to incorporate some of these into the shirt as well. The plan is to do a like join as you go method, and so I need to kind of figure out what other squares I want to incorporate. So it's going to be these kind of granny lacy sort of squares, African flower granny square, in bloom square, and then maybe just a standard granny square. So I think I need to just kind of mentally, or like write it down, draw a little picture, map out where I want each square to be, and then I can kind of work on like doing the join as you go, because I don't want to be weaving in a bunch of ends. That's like the worst thing. So hopefully I'll be able to do the join as you go method, which I think will make my life a lot easier. But yeah, that's where I'm at, and I will keep you updated.
I have some not very good news. I have COVID, as you can probably tell from how nasal I sound. It's not been a fun time, I can't lie. I haven't felt well naturally for the past 4 days, 3-4 days. I honestly initially thought I just had really bad hay fever. Like, my hay fever is terrible in the summertime, and if you also suffer from bad hay fever, you know how bad it can really get. And I genuinely just thought my hay fever was just really bad. My sinuses were all blocked, which has happened before. And then a couple of days ago I was moisturizing and my partner was like, "Oh, you smell really good," and I was like, I can't smell this. So then we tested it out. I had a bottle of like Albasoil, you know, the menthol Albasoil. Tried to smell it, couldn't smell it. And we were like, maybe I should do a COVID test. And it was positive immediately, literally, like, you know, ding ding ding. The T line was just lit up immediately. Luckily my partner is negative. I'm feeling better than I have been. I still feel like I've got quite a bit of shortness of breath. I am asthmatic as well, so that's probably not really helping the whole kind of situation. I feel like my nose is less blocked. So positives. I still can't smell. Luckily I can taste. It's not very strong taste, but I can still taste stuff, so eating is not depressing. But yeah, it's not been a fun time. Yeah, like I said, luckily my partner has not tested positive, but he is self-isolating with me, which means that he has not been to the office, which has put a slight damper on the you know, crocheting in secret sort of thing. But I don't work on Thursdays and Fridays. I did work for the first 3 days of the week because that was when I thought I didn't have COVID. But I don't work Thursdays and Fridays. Today is Friday, and I did manage to do some secret crocheting whilst he worked in our office, and I just kind of like kept it hidden. He probably saw something. He probably saw I was doing something with a different coloured yarn than like what I was working on, like the project I was working on, but he didn't ask, and I'm not going to tell him. So that's just kind of where I'm at the moment. And here is a little update on the actual piece. So I think I initially said that I was going to do an in bloom square, an African flower granny square, and then a granny square and a like a kind of diamond mesh granny square as well. I tried doing the in bloom square, but it was just too big compared to the granny and the African flower granny. So I've just decided to stick to those two, and I'm going to be doing just like a solid granny, well not a solid granny, but like a normal granny square, African flower granny square, and then a one with like the diamond mesh round that he really liked, that he sent me a photo of. So here is kind of where I'm at. I'm doing a join as you go method. We have a normal granny square there, a African flower granny square there, and then one with the diamond mesh. I am going to just block them all as like one piece. I think that's going to work out better because I hate having to join the squares after I've blocked, and there's a million ends to weave in, so I much prefer doing the join as you go method and then I'll block it afterwards. So yeah, this is where I'm at. I've got quite a few of the squares done. I've got what, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13. So I've done 13 squares in total, which is pretty good for basically like 2 days of work. But yeah, I think it's looking really, really cute. I've measured it against one of his shirts that I know he likes the fit of, and especially the length because he is quite tall. So lengthwise, this is where I'm going. So it's 6 squares lengthwise, like height wise, so it'll be like this. And I'm going to work on the back panel first, and then I will do the front panel because I can't really decide if I want to do like a v-neck and do some kind of like half squares, or if I just want to kind of just do it where it's like the full squares at the front, because yeah, I'm not sure if I want to do like a v-neck collar, or if I just want to do some like, you know, edging, some like really small ribbing. So haven't decided that just yet, but I figured I'd do the back panel first. But I think it looks really, really nice, and I love how the squares all look together. Obviously I think when it's blocked it will look a lot better, but I think they're looking really, really cute, and I think he's really, really gonna like it because the subtlety of the squares is also really nice. It kind of has that laciness to it, but it's not see-through. But yeah, I feel like it's going well. Hopefully I'll be able to kind of do some more crocheting in secret, but yeah, I'm looking forward to it. My COVID test is negative. Yay! I did my second COVID test yesterday and it's negative. I wouldn't say that I feel considerably better. I feel like I feel better than I have. My nose isn't running anymore. I had to change my nose ring because of how much my nose is running. Usually I have like a dangly one, but it was driving me nuts trying to blow my nose constantly with a dangly nose ring and a septum ring. If you have both of these pierced, you know that blowing your nose with either of them or both of them is fresh hell anyway, let alone when one of them has a dangly attachment to it. So I had to change my nose ring, that's how bad it was. So I definitely feel better. I don't think I'm kind of at full 100% yet, and I also don't feel kind of comfortable going into like places where there's people without at least being masked up. Like I haven't even left the house in like since I did my test, which was like 3 days ago. So I am going a little bit stir crazy. I might go outside today. I think me and my partner are just gonna go for a little walk just so I can leave the house and go outside because it's a really lovely sunny day. So yeah, that's my little health update. My partner is currently skateboarding, thank God. He has only gone for like a couple of hours though. So I'm gonna try and work on the project today. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do that much or get that much actually done, but I have had to move it into like my little on the go bag because usually I keep everything in this like little kind of box sort of thing, this like tray box, but because obviously the project is getting bigger, it's getting considerably harder to hide it, so I've had to put it in here, and this is where I keep, you can probably hear it, this is where I keep like all of my hooks and stuff, so he doesn't go near this, like he's not going to be suspicious of this at all. In terms of like a yarn update, I bought 6 100-gram skeins. I am on to my second, this is my second skein. I think I'm kind of on track. I don't think I'm going to need to buy that much more. Progress wise, we are doing very, very good. I got 3 rows of it done, kind of fully finished, and I just think this looks so nice. I think it looks so beautiful. I think he's really going to enjoy wearing it. But look how pretty all of these skirt squares look together. They look so nice. So yeah, so this is going to be the back panel. He is very tall. So to me, I'm like, this feels really tall, but he is quite tall, and he does, obviously I'm so used to making stuff that's cropped as well. So this to me, I'm like, this is a dress, you know, by comparison, but compared to his stuff that he usually wears, this is normal length. Annoyingly, the shirt that I have been like measuring it against, he's actually wearing today, and I was like, oh no, wear this shirt instead, because I knew I wanted to do like a little quick measure check when he had left. But he's wearing it, which is very inconvenient, but it's fine because he has a million of these kind of shirts. So this is another shirt that I know he likes. This is very colourful for him. Usually this is very abnormal for him to be wearing this much colours. In terms of the length, I think this is pretty spot on. This is basically the exact length of the shirt, or the height of the shirt, whatever you want to call it. So I think I'm doing pretty good, because even when I was joining the rows, I was like, is this maybe gonna like stretch out a little bit when I block it? But I don't think it's gonna stretch kind of considerably to the point where it's going to be like too long. But yeah, lengthwise, we're doing good. We are on track, and I reckon for the back panel, I'm probably only going to need to do like 1 more row, so it'll be like a row of 4. So I've not got much to do for the back panel, and then I can get started on the front panels, and then I can do the sleeves, and then we're done. So this is actually going suspiciously well. I am not going to jinx myself, but I am going to knock on wood, you know, because I'm not crazy. But yeah, it's going very well. I have managed to be able to do a lot of it without him here. I've actually managed to do a fair bit of it without him noticing, considering he's been here, you know. I got quite a bit done yesterday as well. I'm gonna, like I said, try and do a little bit today. He's also going skateboarding tomorrow. Like kind of afternoon, but he's going for like a little bit longer. Today he's only popped out for like a couple hours, so I don't think I'm going to be able to kind of make like a huge dent on it today, but tomorrow I should have a good amount of time. Also, his birthday is at the end of August, so I don't think I'm going to have to like cram in a bunch of like crochet time to get this done, because I've only got 1 more panel for the back, and then with the front and the front 2 front panels, and then like short sleeves. So I think I'm good, you know. I don't think I'm gonna have to rush. I don't think I'm gonna have to like, you know, worry about the time constraint or anything like that. I think I'm okay, and everything's going to plan as well. I think the only thing that I'm maybe gonna have to like figure out is the neckline, but I can actually just make a plan before I do it. So we're good. Also, I bought myself a new little stim toy. It is covered in rabbit fur and my hair and dust already, because it's one of those like, it's called a Nido Nice Cube. I keep seeing them all over TikTok, and they are unfortunately great. I do understand the hype, because it's a really firm kind of like texture, you know, and I'm quite heavy-handed. I have quite large hands as well. I like a firm touch, so I am thoroughly enjoying this. Also, it came with these like temporary tattoos. Look how fucking cute these are. But yeah, it came with these temporary tattoos. There's like another pack as well, and I kind of really desperately want to put one on, so I think I'm gonna put this one on. Look how cute it is. Maybe like on my arm, like here with my other tattoos. I think that's gonna look so fun. Okay, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. I'm doing it. Oh, it came off. It did it. Look how cute. That is so silly and fun. I love temporary tattoos. I used to be obsessed with temporary tattoos when I was younger, like obsessed. And if they like rubbed off like shortly after, which of course they did, because they were always terrible quality, and it was like 20 years ago, more than 20 years ago, I would be really upset. Like, I was obsessed with tattoos when I was younger. Like, if I saw somebody in the street who had tattoos, I would stare so much because I was obsessed with it. And there was one time, I remember when I was really young, there was somebody with loads of tattoos, like full kind of sleeves, bunch of stuff all over their chest, their legs, everywhere. And I walked up to this stranger and was talking to them about their tattoos. Luckily they weren't crazy and they were a normal person, but I think I was like 7 or something, and I was just talking to this stranger about their tattoos because I was obsessed with them. I think that's also why I love, you know, getting my own real tattoos. But yeah, look how fun! This is so fun. It's like a little unicorn. Look how cute. That is so cute. That is so, so cute. I'm visiting my bestie with my other bestie in like a month, and I'm 100% gonna bring them and make them wear these because these are so cute. So I actually didn't crochet since my last update. I haven't done any additional anything additional for this project, which I think is okay because, like I mentioned, his birthday is at the end of August. We're now at the beginning of, well, the end of July, beginning of August. It's the 30th of July, so I think it's going to be like August on Thursday basically. So I've got time, and considering I'm basically nearly done with the back panel, I think I'm doing okay. I am going to be working on it a little bit today because my partner is in the office and then he's going skateboarding, but he's going skateboarding near his office, so it means that he's not coming home first, which means I should have like a good few hours of crochet time without him being at home. So I'm hoping to be able to finish off the back panel and then at least make a start on the front panel. I'm not quite sure what I want to do for the front panel just yet because I keep seeing like men's shirts, I keep seeing like pictures of men's shirts, some with v-necks, some with like a kind of straight panel down with like a row of buttons and stuff. I definitely want buttons regardless, whether it's v-neck or just straight, but I just can't decide if I want to do v-neck or not. I think it would be easy enough for me to do a v-neck because the squares I've chosen, the granny square and the African flower square, I can do a half version of both of those, and that's not too difficult for me to like find a tutorial, or even though I'm pretty sure I know how to. But yeah, those, so it's possible, as in it's like physically feasible. I just don't know which one I actually prefer yet, so I haven't quite decided. I'm hoping I will decide soon because I have like 3,000 crochet shirts screenshotted on my phone, and every time I'm going through my phone with my partner around or near, I forget and then I get worried. So I will make a decision. But whilst I'm here, actually I have my little bags of buttons. I don't know if I've ever mentioned this, but I'm really obsessed with buttons. I don't know if it's like an autistic thing or where my love of buttons has come from, but I love buttons. Like growing up, my mum used to have this pickle jar full of random buttons that she just collected from like everywhere, you know, like if a button fell off something, she would pick it up, she'd put it in this jar. Or if like she got a cardigan and it came with a spare button, she'd put it in the jar, and she just created this little collection of buttons. And when I was younger, I used to really enjoy tipping out the entire jar, going through them, going through my favorites, sorting them all out, you know, going through like size order. I really don't know how anyone missed that I was autistic, but hey, here we are. But yeah, I have this bag is my mum's collection of buttons. So when I started crocheting, my mum brought me a bunch of her yarn that was from like her and from my nan, and then she also brought me her button jar, and I raided the whole thing. So I have some of my mum's buttons, which I really love. I think that this is such a like just a lovely kind of like full circle sort of moment to be able to have some of my mum's buttons. And then I have this bag, which, just bear with me when I tell this story because it's going to sound a bit weird, but my partner skateboards, right? He used to skateboard in this like kind of old abandoned car park, fully safe. It's like a safe place to skate. Lots of skateboarders skate there. And he found this like random tin one day, just like tucked to the side. They also do car boot sales in this car park every Sunday, and so he thinks it was left from a car boot sale. So he finds this random tin. It's full of buttons, just full to the brim of buttons, but the tin is disgusting. It's like rusty, the buttons don't look in very good shape, it smells awful. It smells, or I cannot describe what the smell was. It was like old people and an ashtray
and like damp, like all mixed together. It smelled horrific. So with a mask and gloves, me and my partner like went through the buttons, because I was like, there's no point us cleaning all of them if they're just shit. So I went through all of the buttons. I did find some really cute ones. We found some that had like matching ones, so like a set of them, and then I just cleaned the crap out of them with like fairy liquid and boiling hot water, and now there is no smell. There is no smell at all. Not that I could smell it, because my sense of smell has still not returned after having COVID, but there's no smell anymore. I promise there's not, because I did this happened before COVID, so it's fine. But yeah, so I have now my own collection of buttons, and I haven't actually considered what kind of buttons I want to put on this card, on this shirt. I definitely, obviously it's cream, so I definitely want to kind of go for like a neutral sort of color palette. But I also don't know what he would like, because he really likes green as well. So part of me's like, should I let him, you know, choose his own buttons, but then also, would he actually choose his own buttons, or would he just end up never having buttons on it? So I'm not really sure. There are these really beautiful like pearly ones. They're really pretty. They're like oval, which is so interesting because I've never seen an oval button before like this. They have this kind of like faceted, like cut off sort of side. They have like, you know, a little bit of shell vibe to them. They're like this pearly kind of color. I think these ones are beautiful, so they're definitely an option. I also have these really lovely like yellowy ones, but I don't know against the cream, is it going to be like, is that too stark of a color contrast? I think we need to go like cream or white or something maybe. I also have these really giant ones, which I don't really think he would vibe with, although they do go quite nicely actually. They do go well, but I don't know if he would vibe with this, so I'm not sure. And I only have 2 of those, and they're quite big, so that's an option. But I mean, it could look cute with just two buttons. And then out of my mum's ones, because I would really like to put some of my mum's buttons on there, because I think it's just like, I don't know, it just feels really like wholesome and cute. So I would like to put some of my mum's on there, and she has some beautiful ones. There's really nice, like, again, pearly kind of ones, and these are like off-white with like a tint of green in them basically, so I really love those. And then my partner actually bought me some buttons that he got from a car boot sale that he found. They're these really lovely vintage silver ones, and they've got this like square on them, and they're like etched. They're very cute, so they're also an option, but I don't think silver is really the vibe. So those are also really cute. I also have some like proper green ones. These ones are really nice. They're like a dark green, and they're kind of like multifaceted. It's almost like they're like laser cut, because it looks like it's sparkly, but it's not. I think it's just like the way it catches the light. But these are also super pretty. They're a dark green, but again, color wise, I'm not sure if that's too much of a contrast. So I'm thinking maybe something a little bit lighter in colour. I was also sent these ones from the Wool Factory in one of my most recent orders. I got a bunch of buttons from their sister site, the Button Barn. And these are just like a plain cream set, but these are quite small. So these would definitely go, but they're quite small. And I think I only got, did I get 3 or did they send me 4? Maybe they sent me 4. Oh, they did send me 4. So I could do those ones. Those ones would work for sure. I think I'm feeling these ones the most, the kind of pearly ones with like the touch of green. And then, oh actually, it's too many choices. I do have these ones as well, which are like another kind of shell sort of situation, but they're like slightly grey, and like they have like a cream in them, and like a slightly grey smoky sort of hue, which are also really lovely. These might be a bit too dark though. Actually, these kind of work as well. So okay, so I think I have like, I have 3 options which I'm like really keen on. So we have the shell ones with the slight like green hue to them. We have the other kind of shell ones, but it's like the stripy sort of situation with like a bit of grey in there, a bit of like darkness. And then we have the really small cream ones with the like ridged edges. So I think those are my like 3 contenders for the buttons. So
I'm glad I kind of got that out of the way. Also, I got my hair cut. What do you think? I'm unsure about how I feel about it because it's so hot right now, and I think any form of hair on me makes me really overstimulated, but I actually quite like the cut, because my issue is that whenever I get my hair cut short, because I have a wave to my hair, any sort of like curl or texture or anything, any molecule of waviness to your hair, hairdressers just don't know what to do with you, honestly. Like, which I find wild, because I think there are so many people who have a wave or a, you know, a texture or a curl pattern to their hair, and hairdressers just don't know what to do with it. Anyway, I've always struggled that whenever I get my hair cut, because I have quite thick hair and because the humidity kind of gives it so much volume, is that when I get it short, it kind of goes really like, it looks like I have a bowl cut basically, which I've never liked, obviously, because it's not really my vibe. I don't think I suit it, and I'm not a bowl cut person, so I've always struggled with that. And I love having shorter hair because it's just a lot more freedom. I prefer how it feels. I don't get as overstimulated, especially in the summer, blah blah blah. But I've really struggled with kind of finding the perfect cut. And for me as well, because I do sometimes wear my hair wavy, or I style it wavy, I'm like, well, I want like a shit ton of layers, so the waves and stuff are kind of like really nice and defined. But it's, every haircut I've gotten, they've just not really kind of like understood what I meant or known what to do really. And so I had a bunch of pictures this time to show the stylist, and she basically like sheared it out at the back with these, like, you know, the scissors that look like scissors but they're not actually like cutting your hair, they're almost like thinning it. She basically did those at the back and at the front, so it kind of took off a lot of the bulk, because it's around like here where it would get super bulky. So that's what she did. That's pretty much the only difference. Everything else she did the exact same. So she did like my bangs the same, she did my layers the same. So I don't know why it's worked, but I think it's cute. And I think like usually I would always like pull a little bit of my hair back, because I look like a founding father sometimes when I have my hair down and it's middle parted, so I would always put a bit back. But I actually quite like it like this. I think because it's not doing the, you know, the Edna Mode Dora the Explorer thing, it actually looks kind of cute. But that's my very long-winded update for you, and a little look into the buttons. Hopefully I will have a little bit more done the next time I see you guys. But I'm not worried about the timeline, you know, I'm not stressed or anything. I think the patchwork element means that I can get it done really quickly, and I've basically nearly done with the back panel. So I've got like a month to do 2 short sleeves and 2 front panels, which is more than enough. I'm just very glad that now I don't have COVID, that he can actually, you know, fuck off to the office and go and skateboard and hang out with his friends, because that obviously makes my life a hell of a lot easier. Because crocheting when he was here was a struggle, you know. Every little movement I was like, oh, can you hear me talking when you have your headphones on? Or, oh, can I maybe just shut this door so the TV I'm watching doesn't disturb you? And he knew that was a pack of lies. I think he was definitely like suspicious. He was like, what's going on? But anyway, it's fine, everything's fine. I actually am feeling very positive about this. I don't think it's going to cause me a lot of stress, so it's all going good. Also, look at this really cute button. So this is one from my mum. It's a Christian Dior button, which I don't know where the hell she got this, because my mum does not own anything Christian Dior. I think she doesn't even have any Christian Dior bags. Like, she's got a few designer bags, but she doesn't have Christian Dior bags. So I don't know where the fuck she got this from. It's definitely real because it has the you know, the engraving on the back. It has the engraving on the back. So, but I'm like, where did you get this? Did you just steal this off of like somebody's jacket or something? Like, I'm like, where would you have even found that? And only one. Like, fair enough, it's like, okay, she bought them, but then why did you only buy one? Anyway, that's my update. Okay, I don't have much of an update since the last time I checked in. I only did 3 squares since the last time. So no wait, how many squares did I do? I did 4 squares. So not a huge update.
I did ideally want to finish this kind of final row. I've only got 2 more squares to do that, so I do plan on doing that today. And I haven't made much progress because my partner's just been around all of the time. And I know that sounds really bad because obviously we live together, so of course, but he is somebody who, like, we obviously have our own kind of like separate lives, you know, like he'll hang out with his friends, I hang out with mine, but he is also a very kind of outside person. I'm a homebody, I like to stay at home, I like to do my crochet at home, I like to watch films, I like to crochet. That's kind of like what I like to do. I also like my alone time, and he likes his outside friend time, you know, so we work quite well in that sense, because when he wants to go outside, he'll go outside and chill with his friends and like skateboard or whatever. When I'm ready to be like, I need to be left alone, I can do my, you know, solitary hobbies at home. But recently a bunch of his plans have been like either cancelled or moved around, or we've like ended up spending time together, which is, you know, totally fine. I'm not saying I don't want to spend time with him, I don't want to not spend time with my partner, but usually we would have a lot more separate time, even just with like him going into the office a couple of times a week as well. He hasn't been able to, obviously because I had COVID, but then like a bunch of other stuff. So yeah, so it's just not been, we've not had much separate time, you know, so I'm at the point where I'm like, can you leave? Can you please get out of the house? Not because, again, not because I don't want to spend time with him. I love him, he's the love of my life, you know, but obviously I'm a bit like, I need to crochet your fucking gift, but he doesn't know that. So at the moment it's the, what day is it? It's the 3rd of August, and his birthday is at the end of August. So I basically have like 30 days, let's say 25 days to crochet the rest of his shirt. So I'm hoping to get quite a significant portion done today, definitely finish the back panel, and definitely make like a considerable start on the front panel. Time wise, I still feel like I will be okay. I'm not kind of like worried about not being able to do it on time, but just for my personal preference, I would like to crochet it, you know. I want to be crocheting this more than I currently am. Also, I dyed my hair today, very terribly. It's a not very good job. I'm gonna have to re-dye it a little bit, but I did some purple on the end and then some blue at the top, because I did like my roots, which I never do. I never do my roots because I'm just super lazy. But I've got purple hair dye all over my face, so they're not bruises, it's just purple hair dye, just FYI. But yeah, that's my update. Hopefully the next time I check in, I will have a lot more done. I just need my partner to get the fuck out, you know?
Got it. I'll scan the whole city at the same time. I just have to upgrade Baymax's sensor. Actually, if we're gonna catch this guy, I need to upgrade all of you. Upgrade who now? Your neurotransmitter levels are rising steadily. Which means what?
It's going so well. I've made quite a decent amount of progress. I have done how many squares today? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I've done 6 squares today, and I have finished the back panel, and I'm just making a start on the front panel. So I'm still doing the join as you go, and then these are the 4 squares I've done for the front part. I want to definitely have this row done, so another 2 squares at least by the end of the day, and then maybe like 2 more for the other side, and then after that I think I'm gonna do my like my v-neck ones, because I've decided I want to do v-neck because I think that will look the nicest, and looking at the shirts that he has in his wardrobe, all of them are v-neck, so I feel like he'll be the most comfortable in it, and he'll actually want to wear it if it's an actual v-neck. So yeah, so that's the next steps of my agenda. I do need to eat something. I think it's like 7 o'clock. Yeah, 7 o'clock. So I need to eat some food. So I think a minimum of like 4 more squares for the evening, and my partner is due home in like a couple of hours. So I think 4 squares in a couple of hours whilst having dinner is achievable. So fingers crossed, and I'll keep you posted. Okay, here is my end of evening update. I basically got exactly where I wanted to get. So I've done 1 whole panel on the front, and then I have just done 2 squares. So I've got 4 more to do this one. And then I will do the v-neck and then the center panels, and then it's just the sleeves. Size wise, like to me, this looks really long. This is like
this feels so long, but I've measured it because I'm getting a bit paranoid now, but I've measured it against one of his shirts that I know he likes the fit of, like lengthwise, perfect size. And for the back panel, this is what it looks like. But to me, again, 4 squares wide feels really small because we're different sizes and he is smaller than me size wise. So 4 squares across is like tiny, it won't even fit over my boobs. So I'm like, again, a little bit paranoid, but I have measured it against a shirt that I know fits him well and he likes the fit of. So fingers crossed, it should be fine. But I mean, luckily with like a patchwork situation, it's quite easy to like add more squares if you need, you know, bigger sizes. But yeah, I think it's looking good. In terms of progress, I am where I want to be. I bought a total of 600 grams, but I'm now on the 400th gram. Why don't I make it sound so complicated? I'm on the 4th ball of 6. So yarn wise, I feel like I'll be fine because I've just got the rest of the right side panel and then the 2 center panels and then the sleeve. So I feel like 2 balls of yarn for that will be more than enough. So I'm not worried about kind of running out of yarn either, but I'm feeling positive. I feel like it's going really well, and I'm gonna put this away for the rest of the evening now because my partner is on his way home. I've just realized that I can't count. So it's a new day. My partner is working in the office today. I was working today. It's now the evening, so I'm gonna get cracking on obviously crocheting his shirt whilst he's not here. But I realized, and I was looking back at the footage and I was like, this doesn't seem right. I can't count. So I've done obviously 4 squares across, and then the last check-in I did, I'd made a start on the front panels, and then I was like, oh, I'll do 2 more here, but then like, where's his neck hole? Where's the head hole? So I can't count. So I need to have, because annoyingly 4 squares at the back is actually the perfect kind of width for his body, but I obviously need to add an additional square so that that square can then be his head hole, you know, because I think 1 square being his head hole will be enough, because obviously then we've got the collar and you can kind of fold the collar out, so I think that should be fine. But yeah, I need to add, I obviously need to now add another row of squares. So I think, because now what I'm thinking is that, so obviously this is the back, so this panel is fine to stay because obviously I've done that whole front panel, that's fine to stay. If I add another, because I need it to be, wait, I need obviously the middle one to be the head hole. So if I add another square, what am I thinking? Okay, so this one's done. So maybe if this one's the head hole, then I need to maybe add another square onto this side, so that then I have another panel on this side. Here's the head hole, and then it's 2. So that it's 2, head hole, and then this one and another one. Does that make sense? I basically need to add another square, but I wasn't sure whether I'd need to like frog anything. But I don't think I should, because if that's the head hole, then that's the thing, that's the front panel, that's the front panel, that's the front panel, add another panel. Yeah, I think that's fine. But yeah, anyway, huge news everyone, I can't count. So I will be working on this today. I don't know if I'm gonna do the extra panel today. Don't know if I can be bothered. I might just carry on working on the front panel that I was working on. We'll see how I feel, see how I go. But that's what's on the agenda. It's a new day, and I didn't have time to finish like an end of day update last time because my partner came home earlier than I was expecting to, so I had to like quickly hide everything, and because it's gotten bigger it won't fit in my like little crochet pouch thing, so I've had to hide it in like the drawer where my yarn lives basically, which he doesn't go in and I don't foresee him ever going in, so I feel like I should be okay in terms of keeping it hidden. But as an update, here is where I'm at. I did finish off this 1 front panel, and then which I think was like 2 squares that I needed to do, and then I did 3 squares for the next front panel. So hopefully the agenda for today is to finish the rest of this row, which is what, 3 squares, and then add on the other side for this side, which would be a total of 12 squares for the front and the back. I don't think I'm gonna get the whole 12 squares done, but at least kind of like make a significant dent on it, because I'm not working today.
And my partner is skateboarding this evening, so he'll probably be back relatively late, which means I've got, I think it's like 12 o'clock now. So it basically means I've got the entire day and most of the evening, if not the entire evening, to get some work done. So obviously I need to, like, you know, eat and move around a little bit. I've just come back from the gym because I was proper getting like ants in my pants, you know. I think after having COVID and like not really kind of getting into my routine of going back to the gym, like I just felt like a bit off. I felt like something wasn't right. Obviously everything going on in England at the moment, it's the 9th of August, 8th of August. So if you are watching this retrospectively and you don't know what's going on, I don't want to tell you. You could just Google what was happening around this time in England because it's not been fun for a person of colour. It's not been fun to, you know, exist currently. So I've been kind of staying in a lot more, and my partner like walked me to the gym yesterday because of how kind of like worried we both were. So everything's fine. I feel a lot better. I feel like things are very tense still, kind of just in the air and in the atmosphere. Things feel very different and things feel very odd, but I was like, I need to go outside, I need to exercise because I feel like trash. I feel like trash. So anyway, I don't know, where was I going with this? I don't know where I was going with this, but I feel a lot better. That's what I'm doing. That's what I'm working on today. And that's how I'm feeling. If anyone cares how I'm feeling, that's how I'm feeling. But yeah, no notes. I feel like it's going very, very well. I'm actually really enjoying, because the thing with patchwork stuff, right, is that usually it's like the same square over and over again, and as much as like you kind of get that little dopamine hit of like, oh, I finished a square, and then you can move on to a next one, and then you kind of finish a square and you're like, oh yeah, I feel like I'm, you know, making a dent in it. It can get quite boring and quite repetitive doing the same square over and over again. So because I'm obviously joining as I go, and I'm doing like a granny square, and I'm doing an African flower granny square, and then I'm doing a mesh granny square, it feels different, you know, it feels like the same but different. So I'm enjoying the process a lot more than I would a kind of like traditional patchwork garment, you know. So yeah, I'm having fun, and I think it's turning out really cute. And in terms of yarn, I got 6 100-gram skeins, and I have 2 100-gram skeins left, which I think will be more than enough to do obviously the rest of this panel and this one panel, and then the sleeves, and then just like a little collar. I've now realised as well, I obviously planned to do it v-neck, but because of the fact that I forgot how to count and didn't factor in his head hole, I'm not going to be doing a v-neck. But I think I'll still try a collar, because I think a collar can still work if it's not kind of like half squares at the front. I think a collar will still work. So I think yarn wise I should be fine, maybe like cutting it a little bit close, but I think I should be okay. I think that'll be enough. And timeline wise, I think it's what, like I said, the 8th of August. His birthday's at the end of August, and I think I will be fine. I have all day today. He's also going skateboarding on Saturday or Sunday, one of the days this weekend, so I basically have like all day to crochet then, and then he is obviously in the office again next Thursday as well. It's looking good. It's looking good timeline wise. Okay, my end of movie update. I've just got one more square for the 3rd front panel. So this is the part where I only had half of it, so I've only just got one more square, which is an African flower granny square, and I'm like, I don't know, halfway through it. I have just started my, what number skein is this? 5th. This is my, I'm just starting my 5th skein of yarn. So I think yarn wise I will be absolutely fine. I just finished watching Frozen 2, which I haven't watched in ages. I've been like on a real Disney kick lately. Like I am an adult who enjoys Disney films, but I'm not a Disney adult. I think there's a difference. But yeah, I've grown up with Disney films, you know, so they're very nostalgic for me, and I love Disney. I've been to Disneyland a bunch of times. But yeah, so I just finished watching Frozen 2. I could not stop crying. You can definitely tell that I'm on my period, because goddamn, every time they started singing a song, or it just got like, you know, the swell of the music even got me really emotional and teary for whatever fucking reason. But I was like, damn, you can tell that I'm due on my period. I was gonna watch Coco. Can you imagine? I would have been bawling my eyes out if I decided on Coco. So I'm glad that I went for Frozen 2, because it's not even that sad. I just, for some reason, just felt very emotional and very teary. throughout the whole bloody thing. But now I'm gonna watch Elemental. But I have seen Elemental, but I'm really enjoying watching like the more kind of newer Disney films that came out maybe within the past like 10 years, because I'm very much like a nostalgia person. So I've watched all of the ones that I used to watch when I was younger a bajillion times, but these ones I've obviously seen, but I haven't like rewatched them quite a lot. So I'm gonna rewatch Elemental, which I don't think I've rewatched it. I think I only watched it once when it first kind of came out, and then yeah, this will be my second rewatch. But I thought it was a great film. I really enjoy silly little kids Disney films. But yeah, that's my #1 movie update.
Understand. When I'm ready.
It must be nice knowing what you're gonna do. After my dad passed, I got all, what's the point? Now I just go from one job to the next.
There's a word in Irish. Bishok. It means embrace the light while it burns, because it won't always last forever. Or something like that.
You okay?
Yeah.
You sure?
It's just that building over there, that's Garden Central Station. When I was a kid, my dad took me there because they had a big wisteria tree.
Okay, this is my end of day update because my partner's coming home earlier than I expected. It's raining, so he can't skateboard today. But I have done, I finished the full second panel, and then obviously we had this one as well, and then I've made a start on the back on this side. Where is it? Where's my progress? Oh, here you go. I made a start with the extra panel. I've done 1, 2, 3, 4 squares. So I have, how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I have 8 more squares that I need to make, and then the kind of front and back panels are done. So I think it's looking really good. It still feels really, really long to me, but I've checked it 3 trillion times against a shirt I know he likes the fit of, so it's fine. And fit wise, I think this is going to be good. Like I said, he is smaller than me, so this looks like it's tiny, but it'll be fine. And then yeah, I can kind of do a nice collar because he'll have the 1 square at the back as his head hole, which I wasn't sure how the 1 square as his head hole would be, if it would be big enough, but it actually seems okay. So yeah, I think it's going good. Here's the back. Oh, I think it looks so fun. I'm really, really like, now it feels like it's like coming together, so I'm getting a little bit like more excited, you know. I feel like I've made really good progress today as well, and you know, the end is near. I feel like I've really neglected crocheting this, so I don't actually know what I updated the last time I updated, but here's an update, I guess. I went to visit one of my besties who lives like a 2-ish hour train journey away from me, so I did take it with me so I could get some done on the train, but I was with my other bestie, so we were just yapping the whole time, and it obviously went a lot quicker than I thought it did. And I also, so this was the last square that I joined. I don't know what I've done here because this is the end of the square, but I've somehow, because I'm doing join as you go, I've somehow not joined it to the end. So I'm like, what have I done here? So I have to deal with this because I obviously wasn't paying enough attention because I was talking so much. But yeah, this is where I'm at. I've got a fair bit of the extra panel done, which is pretty good. So I've got to kind of finish sorting out whatever the hell I've done here. So technically 1 square, but like not really a square. And then I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 squares to do to finish this side, and then it will be the sleeves, and then it will be the what's this called, the buttonholes, the ribbing, whatever. I'm a bit concerned because I only have 1 skein of yarn left, which for 4 squares, and then what, like, because he's got quite slim arms, I've got quite big arms, so I'm gonna have to measure a shirt that he's got to see how wide I need to make the sleeves, because my arms are not, I'm not gonna be able to do it based off of my arms because they're different. And also it will be a bit nice if they're a bit stretchy, because this is quite a like stretchy yarn. So yeah, so I've got one skein of yarn left to do 4 squares, and then maybe like, what, so I don't think, do you think 2 squares is enough to wrap around his arm? No, that's crazy. Maybe like 3 squares to wrap around his arm. Let me see. So it's like that. That looks like a sleeve. That could work as a sleeve. I mean, yeah, it technically goes around my arm and I've got big arms. So 3 squares for each sleeve. So that's 6 plus, what did I say? 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's 10 squares. I have 100 grams, 1 skein of yarn for 10 squares. Join up the sides and the, whatever the hell, this thing, collar. And the collar and the buttonholes. Is that doable? I'm a bit frightened. I don't know if that's, I'm a bit frightened. I don't know if that's gonna be enough. And annoyingly, you know what it is? I think it's like just not gonna be enough. If it's not enough, well, okay, let's think positively. It will be enough for all of the things I've just said. That will be enough. But if it's not enough, it will be just not enough, which will be quite annoying. But it'll be fine. I don't know. I think it'll be fine. I think it'll be fine. I don't know if it'll be fine. I know it's okay. Okay, I think it'll be fine. Let me just actually do some shit and then I will come back with a semblance of an update. Because those skeins are 100 grams, but they do go a lot further than I kind of like assumed that they would go. Like this is all just 500 grams. And considering it's super bloody long as well, like I think that's actually pretty good going, you know? So we'll see. We shall see. But I'll keep you posted, of course. Okay, I've finished the panels, both of them. So it's just the sleeves left now. And then obviously I've got to join the sides together and then do the neckline. But in terms of the actual squares, it's just the sleeves. So I'm very confident that I'll be able to get it done on time. In terms of my yarn, obviously I did what, like 4 squares with a new skein. It's still pretty, you know, full. I think I am kind of cutting off my ends a little bit like shorter than I usually would. But yeah, it's going well. I don't know if my partner, so he went out skateboarding. I don't know if he's coming home yet, because sometimes when he gets like in the groove, it's been like an hour since he like last messaged me, but he usually does message me when he's on his way home. So I've just messaged him to be like, how's it going? And so hopefully he'll let me know if he's like either on the way home or like how much longer he wants to kind of stay skateboarding, because if he says he's going to stay a little bit longer, because it's still early, I think it's like 8 o'clock, so if he says he's going to stay a little bit longer, I'll carry on with the squares. If not, I think I'll put it away, because I have such a fear that he's going to just like walk in, and it's not like if he walks in, he walks into my living room, which is where I'm crocheting. He'd have to kind of go through the hallway, but I just have this fear of him turning up and then being like, oh my god, and then not being able to hide it, even though I actually would have a really good hiding place for it, kind of like next to our sofa sort of thing. There's like an area where I could hide it. So I think worst case, I just hate being startled, you know. I hate being like, I hate being frightened. So unless like I'm expecting it, if I'm like watching a horror film, then fine. But yeah, anyway, I digress. So I've done the panels, that's what I came to say, and I'm going to do the sleeves now. So I will see you on the next update. Okay, today is Monday. My partner's birthday is on Saturday. Last week, he did not go into the office at all. He was also meant to go skateboarding, but it was raining. So all of the days where I was like, yes, I have time to do the 6 squares and the neckline, easy peasy. He was in the flat. He was here. He was home. And then, yeah, so annoying, but I still have like a whole week basically. Obviously I'm working this week. Today's a bank holiday, but I am working, so he's gone out skateboarding all day. I'm working because I'm self-employed, and if I don't work I don't get paid. So I'm working on this on my lunch break, and also kind of when I finish work. So he's gonna get home at about 6. I finish work at around like 5, so I have like an hour to work on this before he comes home. He's also in the office tomorrow, but tomorrow I'm also working. So I don't know. I think I'll be able to get it done on time. I'm just like, I need him to leave. I need him to get out of the house so I can crochet this without him here. It's been so frustrating because every single time that I'm like, okay, I have this day, or I have this day, or I have this day, where he's like, you know, either got plans or he's working in the office or blah, blah, blah. It's fallen through in the past like 2.5 weeks. And it's been like, never consistent as well, which is very frustrating for me, especially when in my mind I'm like, great, I have like however many full days of crocheting it without him here, and he's just not, he's not stuck to his plans. But it's fine, it's ultimately fine. I'm not worried about the kind of time frame and stuff. I was obviously worried about the amount of yarn that I had left. Yesterday, or like a couple of days ago, I've basically been trying to convince him to wear crop tops, or to buy crop tops, or to crop his like t-shirts and stuff that are like really, really long, because I love a man in a crop top. I just think they look really hot, and I want him to wear crop tops. So I've been pushing the crop top agenda for a good month or so, basically since like the start of summer. I'm like, you should wear crop tops, you'd look really cute. So we were talking about crop tops again yesterday, and he was like, well, I really want like more cropped stuff. And then he was like, oh, can you make me like a cropped jumper? And I was like, okay, because I have some yarn from a jumper that I made him last year. I have some of that yarn left over. So he was like, can you make me a cropped jumper out of that? I was like, okay, I can just crop this, you know, because then that means I get more yarn to use for the neckline and for the sleeves, and I don't have to kind of worry about playing yarn chicken. So I was like, that works out pretty perfectly. So what I've done is, originally this was 6 squares long, so I've just taken one kind of row off, that one square off of the bottom, so that's left me with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's given me 9 extra squares worth of yarn, which is quite a decent amount. So I'm going to put those towards the sleeves, and then I'll probably frog a couple of them maybe, and for the neckline, because I reckon, looking at the kind of minimal amount of yarn that I had left, I reckon I would have run out of yarn, which is obviously not ideal, but it's fine. I don't even have to think about it because I have rectified the problem. So it's now my lunch break. I have wasted 3.5 minutes yapping about this, so I'm gonna go work on the sleeves. I'm gonna go watch some of The Walking Dead. Yes, I am rewatching The Walking Dead for the 3rd time in under like a 1.5 years, but it's my emotional support show, okay? Every mentally ill person has to have an emotional support TV show, and The Walking Dead is mine. It's also nearly kind of spooky season, and I feel like it kind of fits perfectly for around this time of year, even though it's really sunny today, but whatever. So yes, I'm working on the sleeves, and hopefully I will have the sleeves done by the end of my lunch break / the end of the day, and then I can attach them, and then it's just the neckline, and then I can spend like the rest of the week just weaving in the ends whenever he's not here, basically. So I'm kind of losing my mind a bit, because I'm like, get out the fucking house, get out of the house that you also pay rent for. It's fine. Okay, I may have taken a slight extended lunch break, but don't tell my boss. But I am my boss because I am self-employed. Anyway, I finished the sleeves. I ended up doing, I was originally going to do just 3 squares, but I ended up doing 4 just so it's a little bit looser. He is slimmer than me, so it looks like it's fitted, but it will be loose on him. And then I joined up the sides. Oh, I think this is really cute. I think this is really cute. Here's the back. Can you see the back? This is the back. And even though it's even though I took a square off, it's actually like, it sits at like my hips, so it will sit cropped on him basically. But I think this is so cute. It obviously doesn't like do up for me because I've got big tits and I'm bigger than him, but this is standard. This is a shirt. It's a shirt now. It's actually really cute. I might make one for myself and then we can be matching. But this is adorable. I love it. I'm actually going to go eat some food now because during my lunch break I didn't actually eat anything. So I'm gonna go eat some food, and then I will probably work on it a little bit more, like the neckline and stuff, this evening. Okay, it is a new day, and today is Thursday. His birthday is on Saturday. So today's agenda is to finish this goddamn shirt. I'm very, very nearly finished. I made a start on like the kind of neckline border, so I think I just did, have I just done 1 row? yeah, I've done just one row for now, and then I am on my second row, and then I'm just going to map out where I want to put my buttons, and I'm going to like kind of compare it to one of his shirts so I know I've kind of got like the right spacing. I'm still undecided if I want to do like a proper kind of fold out collar, or if I just want it to be like collarless basically. So I think I'm going to see how I go, and then regardless I can add the collar on afterwards, even if I do it just normally. I don't have to kind of like do it whilst I'm doing the border, which is quite good. I can just add the collar on retrospectively, but I think it's looking really good. I think it's going to fit him really nicely as well. I love the fact that I was able to make it cropped, because I am on the crop top agenda for him. And then with the buttons, I think I showed the ones that I really liked, but I'm going to go with both of these, because I realised I only have 3 of each of them, and I'm just going to space them out. Like, I'm just gonna do this button and this button. So this is button number 1, this really kind of cute like light green, slightly off-white shell sort of vibe, and then this is the other button, which is like a darker kind of smokier version, and it's got this like shell kind of aspect through it, quite marbly almost, and I think together these actually look really nice, especially against the like creamy beige of the shirt. So that is the agenda today. I must get this finished. He is in the office all day and he's skateboarding in the evening. So I literally have like 10 hours to get this finished. I do have some other like secret birthday things that I need to do. So ideally it's not going to take me 10 hours. I don't think it's going to take me 10 hours, but who knows? And I obviously need to weave in the ends. But the weaving in the ends I can do actually tomorrow, because he is going to be working in at home, but I can just be like, I'm doing secret birthday things, you have to knock if you're coming into the room. So I'm fine if all of the ends aren't woven in. That's fine by me. So I'm gonna get cracking. The shirt is officially finished. So I did the final kind of edging border on the neckline, and I've just started weaving in the ends. I've still got quite a few ends to weave in like on the side. I feel like I've been weaving in ends for like hours. It's only been like 20 minutes, but I managed to weave in quite a few on the back. So I've only got like a few on the sleeves and then a few on this side to weave in, but it looks so good. I'm so happy with it. I did my little buttonholes as well, and then I can sew on my buttons, and I think it's going to turn out so cute. And I did as well, I measured it again against one of his shirts, and it's like the tiniest bit, so it's like the bit at the front, I think it's going to maybe be a bit snug for him if he was to do it up. I think if he was to wear it open it's going to be totally fine, but if he was to do it up I think it is going to be a bit snug. So I was originally planning on steam blocking it anyway, because I feel like with patchwork stuff you do kind of need to block it when it's all together. So I'm going to steam block it, and hopefully that will just kind of like loosen up and stretch out the front bit, because I do want him to at least have the option to wear it done up as well. But I mean, either way, even if ultimately it doesn't end up fitting him the way he wants when it's done up, he'll still really enjoy it when it's open, because I know he has a few shirts that he doesn't like when they're done up. He only wears them open, so that's also not really like a major problem, but it would be nice if he can wear it both ways, you know. But it's turned out so good. I'm so happy with it. I think it looks really cute. I love the choice of squares that I went for in the end. I'm gonna spend kind of most of the rest of the day weaving in the ends, and then I just need to sew on the buttons. But like I said, he's out all day and this evening, so I have plenty of time to weave in the very few ends that I have left and sew on the buttons. I would like to kind of just get it like wrapped and finished, so it's just done and I don't have to like worry about kind of hiding it. But I also do need to pop out and get some like birthday treat secret things for him. So yeah, it's gone so well. I'm really pleased with the outcome. So today is the big day. It is my partner's birthday. He has gone out skateboarding for a couple of hours because he wanted to hang out with his friends for a little bit, which is totally fine by me because we spent the morning together and we'll be spending the evening together. And I gave him his shirt this morning and he absolutely loved it. He was very surprised, like he had no idea I was crocheting him something, which is amazing because there were some moments that I was like, maybe he's heard me recording, or maybe he's like seen the yarn or something like that, because he usually like sees what project I'm working on, and maybe he saw it and was like, what is that sort of thing, and kind of had an inkling but didn't ask me. But he had no idea, it was no clue. So the surprise went very, very well. And as like a little bit of a debrief, I feel like the whole experience of me crocheting him this shirt for a birthday gift actually went really well. Like, I don't really have anything negative to say about the experience, like at all. I feel like the only very minor kind of stressful things that I experienced was that in the kind of whole month that I had to crochet him this shirt, at the beginning, so when I kind of had like ages to go, at the start of the month that I had, he was out of the house quite a lot. He was going into the office. I think he'd like gone away with his friends, so I had actually quite a lot of time to crochet the shirt when he wasn't around. That was a good thing. But the kind of second half of the month, where I obviously needed to kind of wrap things up and I was like very close to finishing, he wasn't. So he was home a lot more. He, you know, hadn't gone into the office for work. He maybe wasn't skateboarding as much because it was raining, and then I had COVID, so he couldn't go into the office, blah blah blah. So I think that was kind of the only very mildly stressful thing, even though I did know that I was going to be able to get it done on time, like in order to be able to give him on his birthday. So I don't think that's like anything particularly bad. I think maybe in the future, if I want something to be like a proper surprise, I'll maybe give myself like just over a month of like worth of time, especially if I'm maybe doing like a sweater where it's like long sleeve or whatever. The only other thing as well is that I need to remember when I'm buying yarn that my partner is tall and I wear everything cropped. So what I'm used to buying, like kind of quantity wise for myself, is probably going to be quite different for my partner, even though he's like, you know, a slimmer, smaller size than me. He's taller and he's broader, so I need to kind of adjust my expectations or like assumptions on how much yarn I need to get for a project for him. All right, we're rolling. Okay, move back a little bit.
Yeah.
Is that good? Okay, so here is the shirt on the birthday boy. This is, yeah, what it looks like. Do you want to do a little spin? Lovely, beautiful. I feel like, yeah, the length is perfect for it to be like cropped for him. Still, this was a dress on me, this length. This is my idea of cropped for a comparison. But yeah, I think it turned out really, really good. I think it fits very nicely. I think, bring yourself a little bit closer. So we were gonna, I think I mentioned I was gonna do these buttons and then some other buttons, but when I was sewing them on, I was like, oh, this actually looks quite cute with just the 3 buttons, but he's decided he wants more buttons, so we'll raid my button collection and then he can choose whatever buttons he wants, because I did make more buttonholes, so we can do more. And then you can like wear it done up, and you can wear it undone with a little t-shirt. But the fit's good. I really like it. I think it's turned out really nice. And oh, what's happened? Oh, it just went blurry. And he did not know that I was crocheting it, because I was worried that he had seen the yarn or like seen me sneakily working on it, but he had no idea. So
yeah, I didn't know shit.
Yeah, so it went very well.
Oblivious.
Woo! What do you think?
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, it's great. It's like my favourite thing. Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome. But yeah, I'm really happy with how this went, and I feel like the whole process went very smoothly. I think the shirt looks beautiful. I think it looks really, really good on him. I hope you've enjoyed watching this whole crochet process. Obviously, if you enjoyed the video, please subscribe to my channel. If you want to connect on my socials, you can find the links below, but my @ is NotHalfBadCrochet on both TikTok and Instagram, and I am more active on TikTok. Don't forget to give this video a little like and drop me a comment if you enjoyed it, but I will hopefully see you on the next video.